Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank, where I climb the online Series 9 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Today is the start of a brand new rank season, but we're still playing Series 9, so for the next month we'll be just trying out more fun Series 9 teams and Pokemon. And, you know, I think that while we've been playing this metagame for a while, we've still been able to feature a lot of cool teams, a lot of cool Pokemon, so yeah, hope you all continue to enjoy because I still have a lot of fun making these and trying out all of these different teams. So today we're trying out a team submitted to me by a player called Nicholas, and this was actually, like I originally saw it on the VGC subreddit, RVGC, because they used this in a tournament and got top 8 in that tournament. It was like a kind of small grassroots event, and it has Obstagoon. And the story behind the Obstagoon is that the tournament organizer said if anyone can top cut and get top 8 with Obstagoon on their team, I'll give them $50. And so the original creator ended up top cutting that tournament and did win that prize money from the Obstagoon challenge, which I think is super, super cool. Now, the original creator of the team noted that Obstagoon unfortunately just isn't exactly the strongest Pokemon. You're better off using something like an Incineroar and a Grimmsnarl, but it still definitely has its niches. This Obstagoon is actually very different from how we've previously seen Obstagoon and how we previously used Obstagoon. It's not really offensive at all. It's really meant to be kind of a support set that catches your opponent completely off guard with attacks like Icy Wind or Knockoff or Switcheroo. So that's one of the cool components of this team. You've also got Life Orb, Thundurus-T with Dark Pulse and Electro Web. Thundurus-T is just valuable because it doubles down as a switch into Regieleki while also being a pretty strong offensive option. You've got Weakness Policy, Dragon Dance Tyranitar with high horsepower, which I think is really, really cool. The combination of that allows you to potentially snowball really, really quickly, and Dragon Dance is also really nice on Tyranitar. If you can get a single attack boost, this thing can absolutely demolish through teams. Rush Dracovish is also something that we haven't really used too much of, and I think is kind of underplayed, especially because you can actually outspeed max speed Aleki under the sand with Dracovish, and so it's also another really cool option, and it also has Psychic Fangs and Substitute. Psychic Fangs really valuable to break through the screens from all the Grimmsnarls in the format, and Substitute's really nice in stalling out your opponent's maxes, especially because not a lot of people expect sub on Dracovish. Finally, to round out the team, you've got Classic AB Kartana and Wakam-Berry Togekiss. I've talked about this a little bit before. Togekiss has really been making a comeback in Series 9, whether it be support Togekiss or I've seen more frequently offensive Scope Lens Togekiss once again, even on like Colossal teams. And so, you know, this Togekiss will always keep them guessing. When you see it in Team Preview, you definitely have to respect it as a max option. And this set's pretty interesting because it doesn't have Yawn, right? So it's Protect, Dazzling, Helping Hand, and Follow Me. You could probably replace, for example, Helping Hand with Yawn, but Helping Hand's also just really nice to get that extra burst of power to allow your Pokemon to just pick up a KO. One other really fun thing about this team is that you have really 4 viable max options in Thundurus-T, Dracovish, and Kartana, so it's really dependent on the matchup. Either way, I'm really looking forward to trying the team out. Thank you so much once again to Nicholas for the team. Details are in the description below, as well as a rental paste, and please go check out the Reddit post that he originally posted. There's also a brief description of the team and kind of how the team came together, and yeah, just like a mini team report. So all that good stuff is linked down in the description below. Question of the day, I want to know if you could create an evolution for an old Pokemon in honor of Obstagoon today. What would it be? Kind of what typing, what kind of moves would you give it? Let me know in the comment section below. And thanks so much as always for watching. If you enjoy, please share support by leaving a like in the video. I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, let's get started. Alright, getting into the first match here. As you can see, I played some games to practice as we go into Ryota's Porygon-Z team. And yeah, I definitely struggled against Hard Trick Room and a couple of Colossal setups. Played against a Galarian Zapdos as well, and just didn't feel like I had the best matchup into it either. But I feel like I understand the team a little bit better. Obstagoon's just so weird. Even the original team creator said that the Obstagoon's just not very good, right? Like, it was on the team for the purpose of a challenge. But it still definitely can be really valuable in getting surprise, like knockoffs, for example, right? Like, knockoff here could actually be really good. So, main thing to watch out for here is probably Clef-PZ. I have T-Tard and Togekiss. I think Tyranitar could get a Dragon Dance off here and then really put in a lot of work. Dracovish is interesting. Like, they have Gastrodon. I almost feel forced to bring Kartana just because they have Gastrodon. Does Scarf Obstagoon ever do anything for us here? I suppose it could let us Snarl. Snarl's actually not too bad. But I'd have to lead it. That's what makes it weird. I don't love Thundurus-T here. I think Obstagoon could actually be pretty interesting, especially if I let it, but I think I'd rather just go with Dracovish. Because the thing with Obstagoon is if you're bringing it, you're basically saying, hey, I am giving up a Pokemon that can deal significant amounts of damage, i.e. Kartana, i.e. Dracovish, for something that would mainly be used for like a surprise, right? Whether it be a switcheroo or a knockoff or a snarl or an icy wind. And normally, like, if you can chain an icy wind into a KO or a knockoff into a KO, then that's like especially valuable. We're gonna go with Weavile plus Gastrodon. Okay, I'm okay with this. Like, I really want to Dragon Dance, obviously. I'm just, like, a little bit nervous my opponent goes, like, Fake Out and Geyser into it. Okay, but if you max Geyser, then my Kartana can win, actually. Yeah, so, you know what? I'm down to just Dazzling Gleam and Dragon Dance turn 1. We don't have Protect, so, like, maybe this isn't necessarily the safest play, but I think if Tyranitar even just gets a single Dragon Dance off in this game, we're actually in really good shape. Okay, they just go for Surf. Ooh. Well, this is interesting, because you're going to activate my weakness policy as well. But who's Gastrodon targeting? Well, that did... I mean, yeah, I don't know why I expected Surf to do any damage there. I'm just nervous now Gastrodon can one-shot Tyranitar. They also chose not to Dynamax, which is smart. If I saw Gastrodon max, I'd actually be really excited because of the fact that we have the Kartana in the back. But if Tyranitar survives this turn, we'll be in pretty good shape. Okay, we get Gleam off. Weavile actually is still fast, or sorry, still survives. Okay, they go for Ice Beam. Not bad. I'll take it. Nice, and we survive with Togekiss too. Sweet. Okay, so that's a pretty decent outcome for us then, all things considered. Yeah, I just don't think we outspeed Weavile, but that's fine. We don't need to. Now, what are the remaining attackers going to be? Kartana's the scariest thing. That's actually pretty scary. We don't have any fire types on this team. Like, Incineroar over Obstagoon would make things just a lot easier, but let's see. What did I want to check? Tyranitar's speed and whether or not we outspeed Weavile right now. 112? Oof. I don't remember what speeds that Weavile hits. This gives us, what, 56? No, I don't... We hit 168. I don't think we outspeed Weavile, so the play I want to make here is Protect. And Crunch into Gastrodon, I think. It's a pretty safe play, because I'm pretty sure the Weavile doesn't have a fighting type attack. And they go for Icy Wind, that's fine. Yeah, this also like is one of the reasons why I didn't want to max Tyranitar here. Because the thing is, we'll still outspeed Gastrodon, obviously. We should get the KO with Crunch. But the thing is, now my opponent can get a free switch into Kartana, if they have it. And if they have Kartana, then obviously they can just potentially threaten Tyranitar with the KO. And that's the scary thing. Icy Wind is also a nice way to get around the redirection. We have our Kartana in the back. It should be Kartana coming in for them. Yep. So then the question is, can we take a Sacred Sword? If we can't, what's my play? I could Max Guard T-Tar, but then I would have to sacrifice Togekiss anyway. I feel like Tyranitar should survive a Sacred Sword. I'm just like, I'm nervous that I'm making the wrong assumption here, but the play I want to make is just Helping Hand. Max T-Tar. Wait, wasn't it Focus Sash Kartana on that? No, Weavile sashed. It was Swords Dance. Yeah, I'm going to go Helping Hand, Max, and Darkness here. Because if Kartana faints, Dracovish wins the endgame for us. So they're going to max, yep. So it comes down to this turn, I think. Wait, that maxing is good. That means you're never KOing the Tyranitar, yeah. Although it could be Steel Spike, which gives you a defense boost, but I don't know, it's +3 Max Darkness, and I have Helping Hand support. Either way, this means that we should survive the turn for sure. I don't think there's any way Kartana KOs us unless it crits us. I was just nervous about Sacred Sword being enough, but I didn't think it would be enough to guarantee a one-shot. Tyranitar is a pretty bulky Pokemon. So let's see. Either way, we've gotten Gastrodon out of the way, which is really nice because that paves the way for Dracovish. But obviously, Dracovish can't do very much into my opponent's Kartana either, but that's fine. Helping Hand's going to be really valuable for us here. They go for an Icy Wind. Tyranitar actually dodges it. It doesn't really make much of a difference. I guess it would have gotten like the slightest amount of chip damage onto us. So if we hang on with like 1 to 5 HP from whatever Kartana goes for, then maybe it actually mattered, but I don't think. I think we should survive. Let's see. 28 HP though, no, but I don't think Icy Wind was picking up the knockout there, so yeah. That was really close though, obviously super scary there, but we were able to hang on with just enough, and we get the Max Darkness off now. Now, you know what's a little bit scary? I went for Helping Hand, mainly because I was nervous about Kartana going for a Steel Spike, but if my opponent actually went Triple Axle and Max Overgrowth into Tyranitar, I would have fainted and lost the game this turn. So, didn't feel amazing. Definitely didn't feel amazing. But Tyranitar was awesome in this game, so I'm really pleased about it. And now we can get the Sandrush Dracovish out. And yeah, obviously when you're running Sandrush Dracovish, or just Dracovish in general, you really don't want to run into Gastrodon. Because, like, the thing about this Dracovish is it actually can just sweep through some teams completely by itself. And Clef is my opponent's last one, which is pretty interesting. It makes sense. I think the hope with Clef is, you know, I get a knockout onto the Weavile, then you bring in the Clef to bring in free support. But obviously that can't be the case here. This game is actually not over yet. Well, they're never doing enough damage, so it basically is, right? I kind of want to set up a substitute here, like sub plus max guard. Is there any reason to do that? Especially if they triple Axle Dracovish. Nah, there's no reason for that. I'm down to just Vicious Rend and attack here. Because we have Kartana in the back, and my opponent's never beating Kartana with these two Pokemon. So, I'll just play it safe. No reason to try to, like, style when the game's not actually even guaranteed over yet. Now, Vicious Rend isn't doing that much here, unfortunately, right? No, not much at all, actually. And they are going to triple Axle into T-Tar. So this is why I wanted to go sub and protect, but it's like, even with this, it's fine. The one way we could lose this game is if we actually threw by going for Max Guard and, you know, just like a sub, for example. And then the Weavile just gets free damage onto Dracovish, and I get nothing out of it. Now I just get a free switch into Kartana. And sure, Weavile has triple Axle, but it's not going to KO Kartana in one shot. I don't think the Clef on that team had Sing, right? That's the one thing I'm nervous about right now, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. So we can bring in Kartana and just double up onto Weavile every time here. If they go for Follow Me, well, then we get the knockout with Vicious Rend plus Smart Strike. If they go for Protect on Clefable, Weavile just faints. So there's no reason to not double up onto Weavile here. The only world in which you'd want to be afraid of doubling up onto Weavile is if Clef had Sing. But my opponent was using Ryota's team, which we featured on the channel a couple weeks ago, and pretty sure the Clef didn't have Sing. So yeah, Tyranitar was awesome in that game though, so I'm pretty pleased about its performance. Like, this team is interesting. You have a lot of different duos, obviously. T-Tar and Dracovish is like the obvious one. Obstagoon can be a really interesting lead option just in general with anything, but once again, I think like you really only want to bring Obstagoon in when you can like just try to like pick up a KO on something before it moves, right? So you can do that via like Icy Wind, get a speed drop, and then outspeed it with something like T-Tar, Dracovish, or Kartana, for example. Or you can go for a Switcheroo, which can be valuable. Switcheroo here actually might be interesting, or even Icy Wind. I think this is actually a game for Obstagoon, which is exciting. My opponent's team is like the most like they even have it organized, right? Like Venusaur, Torkoal, G-Weezing, and then Tornadus, Metagross. So it's like you see the three duos, obviously, all with each, like among each other. I think Tornadus, Metagross kind of sweeps me here. Yeah, I'm not in love with that. Especially because we're so reliant on physical damage, then they should be able to just Brutal Swing. Okay, here's the thing though, they can't both Brutal Swing and Tailwind simultaneously. So I think Obstagoon's definitely going to be led here, gives me a pretty good answer against everything. And with the Obstagoon lead, I basically forced them to make a decision on how to play with Tornadus on turn 1. Okay, I'm down for Obstagoon Kartana, I think. Honestly, kind of want to bring Thundurus-T here, but... And T-Tar Dracovish? That doesn't feel right with the Weezing and a Metagross on their team. I mean, what's my damage into Metagross here? I don't have any super effective fire type. Thundurus is max darkness. That's pretty much the extent of it. Okay, I kind of want to try out Thundurus here, because I actually think Thundurus is a really viable max option. Especially if we can stall out their Dynamax, you can one-shot almost one-shot everything. T-Tar just feels like a little bit odd to bring because of the Metagross. I don't know. It's still not terrible, so you can make an argument for it for sure. I think this is a matchup in which all of our Pokemon made some sense, but I don't know which one was the best combo. They're going to go with Weezing plus Gigas. Okay, I'm okay with that. I'd honestly rather see this. So what do I want to do to start this game? Also, are you running Babiri on this thing? Well, even if you are, I could just knock off Max Steel Spike. If I'm my opponent, I'm protecting Weezing and Max Striking into Obstagoon here. I don't really have great counterplay to that, do I? Max Strike. Getting rid of Life Orb isn't really that important. Oh, I honestly really want to double up onto the Weezing here. I'm going to go for it, but this is a pretty risky play, right? Like, it's very easy for my opponent to just protect Weezing. But the logic behind this play is even if they end up protecting, I still get Steel Spike, which blows away a potential Babiri Berry. I guess the problem is how fast their Weezing is. That's the other question mark. Yeah. I'm not sure. What's my best lead against Weezing-Gigas? I have Thundurus-T. T-Charge Dracovish is... I can't get either of my abilities to work there, though. What else do we have? T-Charge Dracovish. Obstagoon. I guess Togekiss? But even then. But if they don't protect Weezing on turn 1, we are in amazing shape. Yeah, okay, they went for the protect. But the thing is, now I pressure with the Steel Spike the next turn. The other play I would have wanted to make here is knock off plus Airstream into the Regigigas. So they weren't Babiri Berry. It's enough for a one-hit KO, so yeah, knock off Airstream into Gigas actually would have been super good for us here. But I was just nervous of them, like, reading into me, reading into the Protect, and then just going for a Will-O-Wisp onto Kartana. We do get a defense boost, which is obviously nice for us as well. Oh, interesting. They target Kartana. Huh. Okay. Well, now the question is, you're probably fast enough. It's just Black Sludge. Wow. It's pretty risky if you... Because, like, Obstagoon is Defiant. Oh, it doesn't matter because you have Weezing out. Sorry, I was, like, trying to process why I didn't have the attack boost. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, well, I'm down to knock off the Regigigas and just go for a Steel Spike here onto Weezing again. I think the Weezing's going to outspeed us when we're at -2 speed, unfortunately. So this is why I needed to Airstream on turn 1. Now that you can just knock out Obstagoon, yeah. Oh, it doesn't even KO. Wow. Okay. Huh. That's interesting. Okay, so we still get the knockoff off. That's nice. No more Life Orb. Oh, Silk Scarf. And their Weezing is still slower. This is why I really like to run speed investment on Weezing. I guess I shouldn't be, like, yeah, if you don't have speed investment, you're not going to outspeed, but this, like, bails us out a lot, right? Because now I just get a defense boost and an attack boost. So, the early game looked pretty bad for us because I didn't call turn 1 correctly, but the thing about turn 1 was, like, yeah, I felt like even if I didn't get it and I attacked safely until it protect, we're still in, like, an okay position. Whereas if I try to read too heavily into the Gigas and they actually Will-O-Wisp or Kartana as we Dynamax, I kind of just instantly lose the game. So I didn't want to risk, like, losing the game on a read immediately, right? Okay, they do have Torkoal, which I can't say I'm in love with. +2 defense, +1 attack, -2 speed. That shouldn't matter. But the thing is, now Thundurus-T is set up for the end game, I think. Let's say their last one's Venusaur. If their last one's Venusaur... Well, we have Dracovish and Thundurus. I don't think I actually need to worry that much about it. So here, I'm down to just go for a knockoff onto the Torkoal, and... I mean, none of these attacks are going to KO Torkoal, right? I think knockoff onto Torkoal and just Overgrowth. No, I don't want to Overgrowth here. The reason I don't want to Overgrowth is because I don't want to potentially activate, or I don't want to set up the grassy terrain for the potential Venusaur in the back. Okay, they're Charcoal. This is like the slight downside of running AB Kartana. It is really, really weak into Torkoal specifically, right? But I still feel pretty good about our position because now I just get 2 free switch-ins into Dracovish and Thundurus-T. Assuming both Pokemon faint here, which they should. Strike plus Eruption should finish us off. So, wait, did that not even... Wow, that didn't KO, but Eruption certainly will, right? and actually activates Defiant. Or Heat Wave. Let's see. And they actually missed the Heat Wave. Wow. Well, that's obviously pretty good luck for us, but I still think we had the game wrapped up with Thundurus plus Dracovish, but with Sleep Powder, Venusaur potentially in the back, anything still could have happened, but now we should basically have it guaranteed win, because I can just bring in Thundurus, so that was obviously a very lucky dodge. But you can understand why my opponent went for Heat Wave, because they didn't want to, I mean, assuming they have Eruption, they didn't want to risk Eruption just doing no damage if I doubled up onto the Torkoal, so I do think Heat Wave's the correct play there. And you double hit 81% of the time, right? So the odds are pretty good in my opponent's favor there. So we definitely got lucky here. Anyway, I think Life Orb T-Bolt should just KO Torkoal, so let's just go for that. And I'll just Sacred Sword into Regigigas. Yeah, maybe Aerial Ace is better. Yeah, they don't protect either Pokemon, so that should wrap it up. But yeah, I think Thundurus-T was actually really nice for us in this endgame. So let's say Heat Wave didn't miss Kartana. I assume it would KO even with Assault Vest, just because the sun is up. Ice Punch comes out. I guess they could still win off a Freeze. No, probably not, though, with Dracovish in the back. And now you can't really knock out the Kartana either. So, yeah, my opponent's best way of dealing with Kartana was that Torkoal, and they set themselves up pretty nicely for it, where, you know, I couldn't protect the Torkoal, where I couldn't protect the Kartana. But in the end, this is one of the downsides of running Galarian Weezing, especially if you don't have a Berry, and that's why regular Weezing is a little bit more common, right? But this is pretty interesting. I was really nervous about the Tornadus Metagross duo. My opponent actually didn't even bring it out. And I thought it was like the scariest combination. And I didn't feel like I was super well equipped to deal with it. So had Heat Wave connected, the endgame would have been Thundurus plus Dracovish. I guess then the question is, like, how much Dracovish does into the Regigigas. And then it's a question of whether or not my opponent makes the correct protect. So it was actually still definitely winnable for them. Like, it wasn't a guaranteed win for us, even without the Heat Wave miss. But I'm just going to T-Bolt Smart Strike here. And they're just going to Earth Power. Okay. Yeah, it looks like they really just don't have very much for Kartana, which makes sense because Torkoal's their best answer. Given that they're a Life Orb, yeah. I don't know. The endgame certainly would have been really, really interesting had they hit the Heat Wave. Yeah, I'm just trying to think about it in my head. I think the main thing is, so I bring out Thundurus plus Dracovish. I would think Dracovish KOs Regigigas in that range. It was at like, what, 30-40%? I suppose the sun was up, so I'm not 100% confident on that. I guess the alternative is I could have just T-bolted the Regigigas, Vicious Rend into Torkoal. But in that position, if you're my opponent, you probably have to protect one of the Pokemon. Oh, but we have Substitute on Dracovish. So I think what we could have done was just double protected. Double protect to bait out a protect on their end and then just go for the KO. If they protect on Torkoal, then I think it's basically a wrap because their win con is to survive with Torkoal. But yeah, it would have definitely come down to whether or not they made the right protects, and then also a question mark of how much Vicious Rend does in the sun, and especially because we're not Strong Jaw, right? So the damage output of that is reduced. Yeah, that game highlights why I really like to run fast Weezing though when you're using Weezing-Gigas. Like I like running timid max speed honestly, because after a speed drop, you outspeed so many of the common Pokemon in the format. You can just Will-O-Wisp them, which is super valuable. Next match here, Torkoal, Glastrier, Pheromosa, Landorus, Rillaboom, Spectrier. Very hyper offensive, very speedy, which is scary. Man, honestly going for Icy Wind here. It's actually very compelling. Do we outspeed Pheromosa? What do we hit? We hit over 240? I think we should, right? I'm just trying to process who my best max option is in this game. If you're my opponent, like if I were my opponent's shoes, I'd probably just play towards maxing Landorus, honestly. Ugh, I don't love this. I feel like I should bring T-Tar, Dracovish, Kartana. But what's the Icy Wind speed drop? Like, I feel like if I'm Icy Windy, I really want Thundurus. Am I doing it? Thundurus? Okay, I'm gonna drop Kartana. I don't know if that's the right decision. Like, it's decent here, but it's not amazing. Yeah, I don't know what the absolute correct approach in this matchup is, but we'll find out. Obstagoon is really interesting. I think the main thing is that, like, it's pretty difficult to use Obstagoon as a lead and then just get a KO immediately on the turn of. We're gonna go with Regieleki plus Spectrier. I guess this is the other part of the problem. Is it actually? No, wait. Our lead is pretty good for us here, isn't it? It's very good, actually. Oh, they do outspeed max speed. Like, if they're max speed Eleki, they'll outspeed Obstagoon, which is the slight downside here. I want to Icy Wind really badly here. Because I think it's, like, decently likely that my opponent switches into Landorus in this position. The other thing is they could just max Spectrier. Okay, so I'm going to max Thundurus-T then, I think. I'm going to Icy Wind, I'm going to max, and I am going to max Darkness into the Spectrier slot. Because that covers for Spectrier maxing, that also covers for a Landorus switch-in. They're maxing. I mean, if it's Spectrier maxing, we just one-shot a turn one, that would be the dream. That would be the dream. Okay. Well, yeah, this is why I didn't want to, like, overread things too much on turn one. But I suspect their Regieleki will be max speed. Now, if they're not and we just get the Icy Wind off, that would be excellent. That'd be so, so good. Either way, like, this should be a pretty good trade-off, because I think we'll do more damage with Max Darkness than they will with the Phantasm into Thundurus-T. Okay. But either way, yeah, I'm glad we actually ended up getting to feature all the, you know, different Pokemon on this team, because there are so many different new, cool Pokemon to feature with this team. Okay, they just go for T-Bolt. I think we survived. Let's go, Obstagoon. Now, if we get the surprise one-shot onto Spectrier here, it makes it all worth it. Alright, Life Orb Max Darkness, come on. Ah, it's not a KO. Oh, it's okay. I'll take it. I'll take what I can get. Get a special defense drop. Unless you're weakness policy Spectrier, then I'm gonna cry. Don't be weakness policy. Okay. You're gonna Phantasm into Thundurus. Okay, perfect. Because now... well, two things. Defiance actually irrelevant, never mind. But I am faster with Obstagoon now. Into the Eleki. Okay, their Life Orb. Got T-Tar and Dracovish in the back. It's always pretty solid to have as an endgame. I think I like Icy Wind and Max Guard here. I guess unless they're... Nah, I think this works. Wait, does it? Why does it matter? Why do I need a Max Guard Thundurus, right? Spectrier is... The Eleki is never hitting Thundurus. Yeah, actually, I'm fine just going for an Icy Wind then, and going for another Darkness. Spectrier should Max Guard here, but I don't want to KO Eleki and give my opponent a free switch-in, so I'm actually fine with this. Yeah. Actually, maybe it was fine to give a free switch-in. Or, sorry. Yeah, it would have been fine because I would have conserved Obstagoon. And then it means Obstagoon would get an Icy Wind off into whatever comes in. That's actually pretty valuable, so yeah. I should have just targeted Eleki because the Max Guard was so obvious there. But this is a position where it's like I don't really mind attacking into an obvious attack. Although, my opponent made the one play that, like, now... Yeah, that was smart. Because now they can actually switch into something that's faster. So exactly what I was trying to deny ended up happening anyway. Which definitely feels a little bit bad. So, nicely done. They bring in Landorus. Okay. Landorus. Pretty free to go into Dracovish right now. Yeah, I think if I had Icy Wind Darkness there, they didn't have a free switch-in. And I don't think Aleki's ever protect. Although, I don't know, if I were my opponent's shoes, like, this is an example where, like, turn one goes so poorly, maybe you feel the need to just, like, make, you know, big plays immediately. Which would be understandable. Okay, what's the main fear here? If you are faster than Thundurus with Landorus? Otherwise, it's pretty easy to just Vicious Rend here into Lando. I think the safe play is actually probably to switch Thundurus out into Tyranitar and just Vicious Rend the Spectrier. Because conserving Thundurus itself is a win condition against Regieleki. And I don't want to risk it being Scarf Landorus here. Right? Is there any way we could have indicated if there was a Scarf yet? No, because Eleki and Spectrier don't have it. Yeah, I'm fine with this. Okay. Oh, well played. Wow. Very well played. Wow. That was a really, really bold play, and it pays off very nicely for my opponent. That was excellently done. Kudos to them. They did just go for Rock Slide. It really makes me wonder on the item on that thing. That's not a good flinch. Oh, that is a really bad flinch. Don't love to see that. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. That makes this a lot tougher now. It's fine, we can still win. I want to sub Dragon Dance so badly here. They might just, what, protect EQ? I want to protect. I'm going for Dragon Dance. I don't think that's the right play, though. Yeah, they don't switch out Landorus. I was hoping to bait out a switch there, but it doesn't make sense to really switch. They do Rock Slide, though. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's Scarf, then. Unless they were making a read, we get pretty lucky with the dodge there. But they might be Body Press, so it might just KO the Tyranitar anyway. Let's see. Okay. That worked out really well for us. They go for Scorching Sands. Okay. Now I want to fish this Ren into the Landorus and just get the Landorus out of the way and Rock Slide. That was a huge turn. That actually worked out for us, but I thought it was really, really risky. I mean, it's still like it's still a possibility that they're not Scarf Landorus here. But wow, that was just such a wild and good switch. They actually switched Torkoal out here, which I'm very happy about. Because, yeah, I wasn't targeting Torkoal here anyway. Okay, nice. So it's not Scarf Landorus, given that we outsped. Wow, that is so much damage. Was that a crit? Nope, not even. Flinch here and the game's over. No flinch, they do EQ. Does this KO Tyranitar? Nice, T-Tar hangs on. Okay, great. You just activated our trap card, Weakness Policy. Vicious Ren, I hope KOs the Landorus here. Sun is up, but I think it should. Nice. That was interesting, though, to switch into Spectrier rather than just protect the Torkoal. So does that mean they don't have Protect on Torkoal? That certainly could be the case. To bring out Eleki, obviously, and Torkoal. I actually still think my opponent wins this. That was, yeah, they made some very, very nice plays in this game. So I can't even be mad. I just, yeah, kudos to them. Oh, this turn is, whoever calls this turn correctly wins. Wait. Can't I just protect Dracovish? Switch T-Tar out? Because then that resets the weather and Dracovish actually outspeeds Regieleki. Hits 278 and Regieleki's max speed is 277. Then it would come down to a potential flinch, although I have the option of substitute. Yeah, I think switching Tyranitar out here is definitely the play. But the turn that they switched Spectre out into Torkoal was so well done. Like that was brilliant. So win or lose, I can't be sad about the outcome because when your opponent makes plays like that, like yeah, it's really cool. That is the best possible outcome for us. They actually blew a Hyper Beam. So I can understand that. The logic was obviously to just get the KO onto Thundurus as the switch-in. But I don't mind that, right? Because now you give me... Now I know, first of all, that your Eleki can't attack this next turn. So it's a free target. So I can always just launch Vicious Ren into that slot. I mean, the alternative is to just Vicious Ren Torkoal. I just don't know if that KOs. But Heat Wave should never be a double KO. Shouldn't KO either of our Pokemon here. So I think it's... Like, I just want to play it safe here and just... I'm just trying to think how I can win while avoiding any RNG, right? So I can obviously Vicious Rend into a Lecky. I just don't want to risk a single miss here. Vicious Rend into a Lecky always gets the KO onto that. But then I'm still relying on Rock Slide. I think I'd rather just Rend into Torkoal here. And Crunch into a Lecky. I'm just... The one thing that's a little bit scary here is if we don't pick up the KO with Vicious Rend. Okay, nice. My one fear was both Pokemon actually surviving this potentially. Yeah. So I can understand why they went for Hyper Beam, because yeah, if you give, I thought if I were in my opponent's shoes, I think what I would have gone was Electro Web plus Heat Wave. If you Electro Web plus Heat Wave, you cover for the potential switch in, and then you knock out the Thundurus probably anyway, and then I am forced to bring the knock out Thundurus, and then I'm forced to bring Tyranitar back in, but then it's a mind game on who protects between Torkoal and Rillaboom. So let's see, it was Life Orb Spectrier. I'm glad Obstagoon got to put in work there, though. And okay, this is why. They didn't have Protect, so that makes a lot of sense. However, I didn't know that, right? Swords Dance, White Herb, Focus Edge, Pheromosa, Weakness Policy. And, oh, and it was Specs Torkoal as well. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's why they didn't protect the Torkoal, and they just hard switched instead. So that all checks out. Either way, it's been a fast couple of games, so let's play one last one today. All right, final game of the day, and there's potential Trick Room, but now you go, it's probably not, though. Grimmsnarl, so this is where Psychic Fangs on Thundurus is actually, sorry, not Thundurus, Dracovish is really interesting. Obstagoon's cool just for knockoff, and it has Snarl. Knockoff is actually really good into Nihilego if they're gonna go Meteor Beam. Okay. I feel like we should play around Tyranitar. Like, if we can just get a Dragon Dance off with this thing, it is a beast. But I guess that's easier said than done, right? I don't know. I'm thinking, like, Obstagoon, T-Tar, Obstagoon Dracovish, Obstagoon Togekiss. None of those feel right. Okay, I'm down for Obstagoon Dracovish, I think. And T-Tar Togekiss in the back. Do I really want Togekiss, actually? Who else could I bring? Kartana. It's pretty mid-tier here. Thundurus is pretty good, mainly into Torkoal and Charizard. But I do feel like we should, like, one of our best win conditions in this matchup is to just play around Tyranitar. So I'm gonna try that here and see how things go. I'm just glad Obstagoon was able to put in work in that last game. Like, even just getting that single Icy Wind off was really valuable. Now, Spectrier actually was able to survive it. Not super surprising, but imagine if we just pick up the one-hit KO on turn 1 there. It's, like, impossible to come back from if you're my opponent. And they're going to lead Indeedee plus Nihilego. Okay, well, having knockoff here is great. Oh, this is really good. Right? Is it? What do I want to do? I have Snarl, I have Knockoff, I have Icy Wind. Itemization is the big deal here. If you're in one of my practice games, I lost the Focus Sash Indeedee plus Trick Room going up. So if that's coming our way right now, I'm not feeling amazing. The thing that's crazy here is, if this is Meteor Beam, I could max Dracovish. Like, I want to go knockoff here, because we could theoretically pick up a double KO on turn 1. I feel like if that happens, the game's just over. I do have max Mindstorm. No, I like Geysering, though. Okay, so they're not going to max. The thing is that this covers for any combination of sets other than Focus Sash Indeedee plus Trick Room Nihilego. Now, that's like not exactly a super rare combination, but if it's anything else, we'll come out of this turn 1 in pretty good shape, I would say. So, yeah, the fun thing about this team is that there are a lot of max options. Dracovish, T-Tar, Kartana. Alright, they go for Follow Me, fine with me. Now, let's see whether or not you are Focus Sashed. If not, this should be a KO. Trick Room's coming up. Well, okay, even if Trick Room comes up, it's not even that bad, right? It's just a waste of a Dynamax here. Trick Room going up is actually very interesting in this matchup, because, like, they don't have Pokemon that are that good under Trick Room, other than, I guess, Torkoal. But there's unfortunately no way to hard deny Trick Room like this. The best bet is to Rock Slide Flinch. But yeah, you know, I said that in team preview and then I was like, eh. But because they're at least not a hard Trick Room team, I think this is still like winnable. You bring out Torkoal here, I would think. They bring out Rillaboom. Okay. I think I'm alright with that. Although now it's like, well, I do have Togekiss in the back. But I don't want to switch it in right now. Yeah, I think we want to sack it. Oh, sorry, we want to bring it in safely, not sack it. So here I'm content to just knock off the Rillaboom and Geyser into the Nihilego. Yeah, it's just a little bit unfortunate for us that it was Sash plus Trick Room, but like I said, it's not super rare. Like, that's honestly pretty likely. And I think that in the games that I played with this team, Trick Room setup like that is basically the hardest thing I've struggled against so far, where I couldn't think of a good answer to beat it even after the game was over. Sometimes that happens, right? You're like, teams in VGC, the best teams ideally will be able to beat everything, but even the best like World Championship winning teams sometimes will struggle against specific matchups. That's just how things shake up in the game sometimes. So they're gonna max. It's got to be Rillaboom here. I mean, Dracovish I would think can survive. The other interesting thing is, like, does my Dracovish actually outspeed Rillaboom? I would guess that it's bulky Rillaboom with no speed investment because it's Trick Room. But I'm not 100% sure about that. Wait, is that a... For Nihilego to go first like that means it's running what, like Power Bracer? Or, I mean, any of the power items? Or Macho Brace? Or, you know, Iron Ball? Anything that halves your speed? That's wild, if so. Wow. Okay, but we should one-shot here. I would guess their last one's Torkoal. And if it's Torkoal, it's really interesting. Because what I can do is bring out Toga. No. Even if you're Torkoal, and I just bring out Tyranitar. The question is whether or not I want to bring Tyranitar or Togekiss out first, and I do want to spend some time thinking about this. What are the other? Is Torkoal, Grimmsnarl, or Charizard? One of those three. I'm not worried about Charizard. Grimmsnarl, I'm not really worried about either. So it really should be Torkoal, especially given how hard they played around Trick Room. So let's say if it's Torkoal, right? What do we want to do? We have T-Tar plus Togekiss. With Togekiss out, I can just hard switch it into Tyranitar. If I bring Tyranitar out, I'll win the Weather War because Torkoal's Sun should go first. I think I like bringing Tyranitar out. Yep, that's Torkoal. And the reason I like bringing Tyranitar out is just because I can just hard switch it into Togekiss immediately and just launch Geyser into Torkoal right now. And yeah, this is a good refresher if you don't know in terms of abilities. It activates in order of speed. So the fastest one will go first, meaning in the weather mirror, or not mirror, just in a weather war, you want to be slower than your opponent. Now my one fear is that Dracovish gets doubled up into and like it's actually just gets KO'd. Because the play I want to make here is just switch into Togekiss and just go for a Geyser and one-shot the Torkoal. But if a double up here actually knocks out Dracovish, we could be in some trouble. The other play here to make was Max Guard and then just bring in Togekiss. Maybe Burning Jealousy, that's fine. I feel like Dracovish should survive, but if not, then Rillaboom is just a lot stronger than I gave it credit for. Even if it has Miracle Seed. Okay, nice. Huge. So that's excellent. I don't think we one-shot Torkoal here, but let's see. If we one-shot, the game's definitely over. Oh! This much. That's okay though, because quite frankly, like I don't see how my opponent actually deals with Togekiss now at this point in the game. So let's just double check the field state. My Dynamax is over. My opponent still has one extra turn of Dynamax relative to me, and there's 2 turns of Trick Room. We have Tyranitar in the back. Double Protect here is very safe. It's a very safe play to make. I guess the one downside in that is that Drum Solo goes through Protect. I think we can just follow me here. If you're my opponent, what can you do? You know what? Yeah, I'm down to follow me this turn. And Vicious Rend. The worst case here is Torkoal protects and Rillaboom, I don't know, max strikes Togekiss. But if we force this to be a 2v1, we should always win the game, right? Now Torkoal's not going to have, like, Dracovish actually counters Torkoal really nicely right now. Yeah, they're just Burning Jealousy. Okay, perfect. Yeah, winning the Weather War here was really big for us. That does practically no damage. And they just Drum Solo again. Perfect. That's why, like, when I saw my opponent's... Ooh, that actually did more than I expected. Is that a crit or no? Wow, not even. That's a little bit scary. But now it should be over. Yeah, it's a 3v1, and while Rillaboom is scary, terrain is slowly expiring. I can double protect this next turn as well. And then I have the rain up as well, right? Actually, this game is not over. I think Rillaboom could actually theoretically still pull it off, but if terrain... I'm just double checking terrain right now. How many turns do they have left? 2. Okay. So this turn is pretty easy to double protect. Yeah, I might have spoken too soon. I think Rillaboom can actually definitely pull off the win right now still, because all of my Pokemon are so low. Huh, I feel like I had a guaranteed win here and I missed it. If I'm like... Okay, so they go for Grassy Glide. Yeah, target Dracovish. I mean, I think we're probably fine. Trick Room expires. How many turns of Rain are left? Only 2, which makes me a little bit nervous. Oh, Tyranitar is at full health. Never mind, we're fine. You can just follow me here, Vicious Rend. I could pull a substitute right now, but I'd prefer to Vicious Rend because, did my computer just fall asleep? I think it did. I would prefer to Vicious Rend in this position because, like, Rillaboom, like, it's guaranteed damage, right? I'm running out of turns of Rain, so I might as well just get maximum damage off from the Red. That does nothing, though. Not the biggest fan of that. Okay. Grassy terrain disappears. That's the main thing. Yeah, we can bring in Tyranitar. Grassy Glide from Rillaboom should not KO Tyranitar. Sandrush is up now. You have no more terrain. And if you're Woodhammer, you just take too much damage in recoil, I think. So I don't think my opponent can win this. I'm not going to risk missing any moves. I'm just going to go Vicious Rend and Crunch here. We just need damage because Rillaboom can't heal right now, right? Sorry, did I say... What did I say? Something... I meant to say Psychic Fangs. Nice. Okay, yeah, that should be game. And they're going to go for the Glide here onto the Dracovish. And Dracovish is very clutch and actually hangs on still. Wow. Nice. Yeah, so the main thing here was my opponent playing towards Trick Room. Like, now Eagle being really slow is super interesting, but in the end, like, they just didn't have a great max. Like, Rillaboom's a good max option, but I have Togekiss, right? That alone makes it a lot tougher for Rillaboom to actually thrive. So, yeah. Just gonna crunch in Psychic Fangs here. Cool. Anyway, that was definitely a really fun set of games. I was expecting to definitely get my butt kicked a bunch more because of how poorly the practice games I had with this team went. So I do want to quickly just touch on that in case you run into the matchups that I ran into when I played against. So the first team I ran into was like hard Trick Room. They led Indeedee, Stack Attacka, and they were Focus Sash Indeedee. I had no way to deny Trick Room, and then the game was practically lost. But I think if I... Did they have Torkoal as well on their team? I think they did. The Torkoal makes it so much harder because then you can just spam Eruption. So then the best bet, if you're up against that, would be to try to go for a Rock Slide Flinch. Like, you could go lead Dracovish T-Tar, Vicious Rend Rock Slide. If you have a 30% chance to flinch, and you connect 90% of the time, so it's a 27% chance to hit and flinch. It's not amazing odds, but it's better than your opponent guaranteeing Trick Room going up, right? So sometimes you just have to take those bad odds. That was what I realized after hard Trick Room matchups, and some hard Trick Room is just really, really difficult. The main good thing for us in this game is that our opponent didn't have like a super strong sweeper, something like a Glastrier or a Stack Attacka, for example. And they relied on maxing Rillaboom, so we actually had a decent answer against them. And against Colossal, I realized like the max quick on Tyranitar is so essential. So you can lead something like Togekiss plus Tyranitar against Colossal, for example, because if they go Dragapult plus Coal, well then their Surf, they activate your policy, you can just max quick KO the Colossal in return. And if they go for like Primarina or Azumarill or Dragapult, or any Aqua Jet user like Urshifu, you can just redirect away and then potentially Dragon Dance with Tyranitar. And my mistake when I was playing against Colossal was not realizing just how important Tyranitar specifically was, especially because if they want to activate Colossal's weakness policy with Surf, they will often have to activate Tyranitar's weakness policy as well. So those were like the two things. You're going to run into Hard Trick Room and Colossal a decent amount of the time, so hopefully that advice would help, because yeah, I definitely got rocked when I first went up against those, and I just felt like I didn't know what to do exactly, but I learned my lesson. So that is going to be it for this one. Thank you so much as always for watching. It's the start of a brand new season. This team was really fun, and we ended up maxing a lot of different Pokemon today, which is pretty cool. Do we max every single option on the team, basically? Thundurus-T, Dracovish, Titar, Kartana. Did we max Kartana? I'm honestly blanking right now. It's been a long day, but it was definitely a fun set of games. So thanks as always for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Don't forget to answer the question of the day. Details are in the description below, and I'll catch you all next time. All right, peace.